Hi everyone, this is Sunny from Database Tech. So today I had come up with one more new session on SQL Server database. In today's session I will explain how we can import data from Excel to SQL Server database. So let's do this in SQL Server practically. For that, let's open SQL Server first. And this is SQL Server. Now, what we need here is one Excel file so that we can import the data of Excel into this SQL Server database. So let's create Excel first. Go to the search bar, type Excel. You will get this Excel icon. So you have to click on that. Here you have to click on New Blank Workbook because we don't have any existing Excel with data. So this is our Excel, but here we don't have data. So to get the data, what we can do, we will go to the SQL Server and copy the data from one of the table. In this table, in this database, we have one table named as games. So let's execute this query, which will fetch the data from this table. Here in the output, you can see we have more than 65,000 rows. So we will copy this data, and how to copy the data from SQL Server? You have to go to the top, select all the data. When you click here, it will select all the data of the table. After that, do the right click. This will open multiple options like copy, copy with headers and other. Now if you will click on copy, it will copy all the data without headers. And if you will click on copy with headers, it will copy the data with headers also. But for now, let's click on copy with headers. Go to the SQL Server again, go to the Excel again. Here we will paste the data by Ctrl V. So all data get pasted here from that table. You can see we get the header also, because we had chosen an option as copy with headers. Now next is we will save this file. And how to save the file? Click on File, Save As. So you can save this file anywhere in your PC. For now, let's save this in E drive. E drive, and you can give the name as import data. Click on Save. This file is saved now in E drive, and if you want to check the file, go to E drive. This is our file. Now we have to import the data of this file in our SQL Server database, which is our requirement. So for that, let's go to the SQL Server again. Now here in this database, you have to select some database in which you want to import the data of this Excel file. We had multiple databases here: organization, school, test, okay, which again depends on the requirement, like in which database you want to import the data. But for here, let's select test database. For that, you have to select the database in which you want to import and then do the right click. You will find option as tasks. In that, you have to go to import data. This will open this pop-up. So click on next button. Then you will find option as data source, which has the drop down. Data source means from where the data is coming. So our data is coming from Excel. So we have to choose here Microsoft Excel. Then you get Excel file path, in which you have to provide the path of the Excel file. So where is our Excel file? It is in E drive. So provide that path. E drive, book 1, import data, open. And next is version. So you have to provide the version here. Now let's select 972003. Sometimes this you will get the error here. Let me show you how. If you will choose like let's select Microsoft Excel 2016 because it checks the compatibility. If it doesn't match, then you will get error like this or some other error. In that case, what you can do to fix this, you have to change the options here. Now if you select here this one, it will work. So you have to go with this option. And in case none of the options work here, what you can do to fix the issue, you will go to the Excel again, then click on File, Save As, and here there's option as when you are saving the file, you get Save As type. So you can change the extension here. Okay, so you can either change to this file save as to Excel 972003 add-ins, or you can change to Excel 972003 template or Excel workbook or some other type. And you have to change this. You can change this here and then try to import the file again. This can also fix the issue, and you have to use this option, this solution only if neither of the options works here. But for now, in this case, it's working. So you will go with this option. Here you will get destination, which means where you want to import the data. So we are importing the data in SQL Server. So you have to find here SQL Server, which is given here, SQL Server native client 11.0. Then it is server name. Here this is different server name, might be in your case you will get the different name, so don't worry about that. Okay, and second is authentication. So we have two types of authentication: Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. If you are using your local machine, most of the times it is only Windows authentication, because we don't need the SQL Server. We don't need to provide this username and password again and again. So we go with this Windows authentication. But if you are working in the company, there you will always get SQL Server authentication. And if you are choosing this option, you have to provide username and password, which has been configured in the machine in this server. But for now, let's select Windows authentication. The next is database. So our database name is test. So you can find this database here. Now click on next. Here we have two options: copy data from one or more table or fields. Write a query to specify the data to transfer. If you will select first option, it will copy all the data from that Excel to our SQL Server database. But if you want to do some modifications, like if you want to get some of the columns from that Excel or do some modifications in that Excel, or don't want all the data from that Excel, then you will go with the next option, the second option, which is write a query to specify the data to transfer. But here you have to write a query. You have to write the SQL statement to modify the query, then only it will be able to modify. But in our case, let's go with the first option because we need all the data from that Excel to get imported in this database. Then click on next. So this is the name of that table. Now when you execute this, you will get the name as sheet 1 in the database, but later you can modify this table. So go with next. Here this is first is the checkbox is run immediately. If we will finish here, it will immediately execute this and all the data will get imported in our SQL Server database, which we had in our Excel file. But if you click on this checkbox SSIS package, it will also create the package. What package means? It is SSIS package. To execute this, you should have SSIs installed in your machine. Okay, package means like it will create a package, and then when you again have to import the data, you have to click on that package, because in that case you don't need to execute these steps again and again, because it will create a package. And how to create the package? You have to check this option and then go with next. Here, let me show you. You click on file system, next, and the file name you can provide the path. So the by default path, which is this one, so it will create a package at this path. Or if you want to change the path, you can click on browse where you want to create the package. Once this package is created, you can execute that package whenever you want to import the data from this location, from this Excel file to our SQL Server database. In that case, you don't need to execute these steps again and again, which we had done right now. But in our case, we don't need package. Okay. So we will click on this run immediately also. But it will also create a package that I will show you. Go to the next, next, and finish. So we have 65,000 rows. So we have to wait to get executed everything. You can see here the rows are increasing. We have to wait for this. So wait for some time unless everything is success. You can see now everything is success and all data has been imported. Now close. If you want to check the data, go to the SQL Server. First you have to refresh the database where in which you have imported the data, and then go to tables. Here you will find sheet 1. As I said, you can rename this. So let's rename this data transfer. So I had given a name as data transfer. Now paste it, copy it here, move it this file, select star from this file. So this table we had imported from that Excel. Earlier the name was sheet 1, which was the by default name, but we had changed the name as data transfer. Now we can use this table anywhere, which depends on the requirement, like where you want to use this file. Now let me show you the data, whether it is working as expected or not. Invalid object name. Why? Okay, so because here the database which is selected is org, but our database is test. So we will execute this query in test database. Now you can see we get the expected output which we had from this games table. So we have taken all the data from this games table and then copied that in our Excel file, and from that Excel we had imported everything in this data transfer table. Now we can use this data. I showed you from the scratch like how we had created Excel. Otherwise I can use some other Excel also, but I want you to, like, you should be knowing everything like how to create Excel and how to import from the scratch. And one more thing, let me show you the package also, whether it has been created or not. So the path of the package was, and here let me paste it here, and then what we can do, Control X, new package. So here you can see open file location. So this is the package. So that gets created. Okay. By this way, what we can, so this you have to execute in SSIS. As I said, for that what you need is SSIS. Then you can configure this in SSIS package and execute this anywhere, anytime as per the requirement. So by this way we can import the data as well as we can create the package. So that was it for today's session. I hope you have understood like how we can import the data from Excel to SQL Server. With this, let's wrap up the session for today. We'll come up with the next session shortly. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care. Be healthy and be safe.